All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about one of the most powerful tools you have for making your iOS apps feel truly professional and intuitive. I'm talking about user gestures. This is the stuff that really separates a good app from a great one, how it actually feels when your user touches it. So let me ask you this. If you've ever tried to build a custom interactive part of an app, how'd you find handling user touches? Was it easy or was it a total headache? For a lot of developers, especially when you're starting out, it can feel like a real pain trying to figure out what in the world the user is actually trying to do. Because if you do it the old-fashioned way, you get stuck in the weeds, you know? You're manually tracking every single touch point, its coordinates, its state, you're juggling touchesBegan, touchesMoved, touchesEnded, and it gets messy fast. You can end up with a mountain of if-else statements, all just to answer a simple question like, hey, did the user just swipe left? It's a nightmare.
But here's the good news. There is a much more elegant solution. The best way to think about it is like you're hiring a gesture detective. Instead of you doing all that low-level, nitty-gritty investigative work, you have this specialist who just watches what the user does and comes back to you and says, yep, that was a swipe. And that specialist is a gesture recognizer.
Now, the most important part of this definition, the real magic, is that last bit, handling the complex touch logic for you. That's the whole game. These are specialized objects that UIKit gives us that wrap up all that messy logic into a clean, simple package. They do all the hard work, so you can just focus on what happens next. And getting started is shockingly simple. I mean, it really just boils down to this three-step process. 1, you create the recognizer you need. 2, you attach it to the view you want it to watch. And 3, you tell it what code to run when it recognizes the gesture. That's it. Create, attach, define. Simple. And this code shows you just how simple it is. Seriously, look at this. That first line, that's step 1, create. We're making a UI tap gesture recognizer. The action part is step 3, we're telling it to call our handle tap function. And that second line, that's step 2, attach. We just add it to our view. It's clean, it's super readable, and it just works. Okay, so now that you see how the process works, let's open up the toolbox that Apple gives us. Because they don't just give you a hammer. They give you a whole set of specialized tools. For almost any common interaction you can imagine, there's a pre-built gesture recognizer just waiting for you to use it. First up, the most common tool in the whole box, the UI Tap Gesture Recognizer. This is your absolute bread and butter. You want to make a custom button, an interactive image, or just detect a tap anywhere on the screen. This is the one you'll reach for 90% of the time. It's so versatile. Next, we've got the UI Pan Gesture Recognizer. Now, this one's for when you need to track continuous movement. Think about dragging a card around a Trello board or maybe drawing something on the screen. It's constantly telling you where the user's finger is as it moves. Super powerful. Then there's the one that makes any app feel incredibly polished, the UI Pinch Gesture Recognizer. This is how you get that classic pinch to zoom on a photo or a map. It handles all the annoying math of tracking 2 fingers and calculating the scale. All you have to do is apply the zoom. It's amazing. And, of course, the UI Swipe Gesture Recognizer. Now, unlike the pan gesture, which is continuous, a swipe is a single, discrete event. It's perfect for things like dismissing a screen, flipping through a photo gallery, or that classic swipe to delete you see in every email app. And you can easily set it up for left, right, up, or down. And believe it or not, the toolbox goes even deeper. You've got recognizers for long presses, which are great for bringing up context menus. You've got 2-finger rotation. You've even got pans that only start from the very edge of the screen. The point is, whatever interaction you're dreaming up, there's probably a tool for it. So, we get the what and the how, but what about the why? Why does this matter so much? Well, it's all about elevating your app, taking it from something that's just functional to something that feels truly professional. And here are the big wins. First off, your code becomes so much cleaner and easier to read. Instead of that messy touch tracking logic, you have one simple line that says, add a tap gesture. Your gesture logic becomes reusable. And here's a brilliant one. You can have multiple gestures on the same view, like pinching and panning on a map, and UIKit helps them play nice together so they don't conflict. You know, this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It's all about simplification. Gesture recognizers take that incredibly complex, low-level mess and turn it into a high-level, reusable idea. It's about telling the system what you want, a tap, not how to figure it out. And let's be really clear about this. This isn't just some neat trick. This is a fundamental, core feature of UIKit. This is the kind of stuff you will be asked about in iOS job interviews, and it's what professional developers use every single day to build the apps you love. Honestly, mastering this is non-negotiable if you're serious about iOS development. So that leaves us with just one final question. Now that you've got this amazing toolbox at your fingertips, what's the first intuitive feature you're going to build? Is it going to be a cool, draggable interface, a swipe-to-complete to-do list, a zoomable photo gallery? The possibilities are pretty much endless. Go build something great.